Welcome to the Sheepless Life podcast. We are your hosts, Ivonne Delaflor
and Séverine Naessens, and we are the founders of the Sheepless Life Academy. Join us at sheeplesslife.com for a free and exclusive masterclass on sheepless living.
We created this podcast for women like you, who are ready and eager to live and lead without the herd mentality.
Women who are ready to be, not who your parents told you to be.
Not who the system expects you to be.
Not who the media wants you to be.
But who you can truly become.
So relax, step out of the herd for a moment,
grab something to sip on, and have a pencil at hand just in case you feel the urge to take some notes.
Let's get the show on the road. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is you're plugging into this podcast number 38 of the Sheepless Life Academy. We welcome you. My name is Séverine Naessens. And we are live, and on the other side, I have the amazing Ivonne Delaflor, also live. She's in Vegas, I'm in Mexico, so this is an international podcast. And today, we are going to speak about doing the work. And the reason why I wanted to bring this topic to the table is that oftentimes people ask me, hey, Seve, how do you manage to keep so calm, or how do you manage to see whatever is going on, whatever problems that you're having, see through them and not get hooked into the drama and not go completely ballistic over things. So that's the reason why this is the topic of this week, and we have a couple things we want to share with you. But first of all, welcome, Ivonne. Hi.
Hello, Sheepless Life podcast listeners. Quick reminder, if you haven't still or yet signed up, remember to like our podcast on iTunes, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, or Spotify, so you can get notifications every week in your email. It tells you when we are live, and most weeks we do this live, and I'm super excited. It's always an honor to do these live streams with you, Sevi. You're a powerhouse. You're literally a powerhouse.
Thank you. And right back at you.
Yes, but it's a powerhouse, and you always introduce me like amazing, but you truly are a force in a positive manner of nature. And so it's always exciting to be building this podcast. We're on podcast 38, right?
Yes, podcast 38, but that's times two, because we've done every single podcast also in Spanish. So we've done quite a bit now, and it is fun, and it is also exciting for me. And I always look forward to our Wednesday podcast sessions, because it's therapy time, friends time, sharing time. It's a very productive little time we have on the air, and we're so happy and honored to be able to share with all of you that are listening to this podcast. Because
I love that you just said it's therapy time, it's fun time each time we get to work. I think it's very few people, and it's our team, that I know that doing the work, it's like fun time, and let's go have fun. What are we going to do? Let's go deep and explore and work through our darkness. Let's go serve so many people. Let's vacation. Oh, no vacation. Our vacation is the work. So, but it's super exciting. But we were talking about getting, maybe just doing girls weekend together. Let's see if it's possible not to do anything. Anyways, by the way, say hi, send a hello to all the live audience that is watching us on the live Insta Live at the Sheepless Life on Instagram. There is a couple of really cool people there listening, and Missions in Action grads, Leslie in Paris, Verito, remind me where you are. I always change people's locations. I send someone to Atlanta and they say, I'm in New Jersey. That's why I don't get invited to their homes. Anyways, so today, Seve, and Rebe is on the line. Rebecca Montero. Super Rebe, that is part of this Sheepless Life grad vibe. So you lead the way.
Well, as I said at the beginning of this podcast, the reason is I wanted to talk with you, to our listeners, about doing the work, is the fact that many people have asked us, how do you get where you're at? How do you actually become sheepless? How do you become so independent? How have you been able to manage your emotions? And so on and so on. So many, many questions. They all relate back to doing the work. What exactly is doing the work? And you already referred to it as having fun, going in deep and checking out our dark side and making amends with our ancestors and doing a whole bunch of things. And it's not just one particular either therapy or coaching session. It's a whole array of different things, different teachings, different practices, different disciplines. It's such a big array of things that you can do as long as you're working on yourself. And the work is working on yourself, working on bringing out that inner power, bringing out the true you, bringing out that soul purpose out into the world. And it's so much fun, and it's so intense in times. And as we were saying, can we get a day off? We'll talk about that in a minute. But what is doing the work for you, Ivonne?
All right. So I want to start with how trendy doing the work has become in the marketing business. Have you noticed that before we go in through our 3 points that we have for this podcast? Yes. You hear it a lot. Right now, there is such a big I'm going to give a shout out because I respect his wife so much, and met him at the Ritz-Carlton in Cancun a couple of years ago, and he's such a hustler of doing the work. His name is Grant Cardone. He has the Cardone Growth Con 10X. 30,000 people are going to be in Florida in a baseball stadium. A couple of my mentors are going to be teaching there. Friends are going to be teaching there. 30,000 people talking about doing the work. And so people like Grant Cardone, Gary Vee, Tony Robbins, my mentors, Brian Tracy, myself, we keep saying do the work. Mm-hmm. So those words have been trending, which I think is fabulous, because for me to define what's the work for me, I got to start by what it is not. The work is not having a job. The work is not going to an office 8 a.m. and getting out at 5. That's having a job. Yes. Okay, would you agree that that's having a job? Now, what I do in those hours, how I show up in what I deliver, how I'm going to be giving either my full self, how my attitude is going to be attitude. I got to get training of spelling my English into Spanish, Spanish into English properly. My attitude at work, how I show up, how I'm committed to do the job of the moment and deliver results. That's the work for me. Regardless of if, for example, if I had a job that was from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., that's a job. That's not the work. If I go there, many people do this. And the mindset of this changed for me when I mentored one-on-one with Mr. Brian Tracy, the author of, is one of the most published authors ever in the world, translated in all languages. He's a leadership coach, a mindset trainer, business coach, and he wrote a book called Eat That Frog of Time Management. Mm-hmm. But he said to me one time, Ivonne, even if you go to a job at 8 a.m. and get out at 5, remember something. You are the owner of your business. I was like, it didn't make sense. How am I going to be the owner of my business? He's like, don't be one of those, and this is the point that I was going to convey, that just have a job but doesn't do any work. Yeah. So I was equating having a job with doing the work. He's like, some people go, they just see how quicker can the day go. Just do the least that is supposed to be yours. Never add value because they should be paying you more. I mean, it's not my business. It's the boss's business. Why will I do more than is expected for me if they are not paying me more? And don't even imagine, Seb, if you hire me from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. that I'm ever going to stay at 5:05 p.m. My job is at 5. It's not in my hands. And this is actually not doing the work. This is actually saying to the universe, to yourself, and to your mind that you got to live with yourself every day of the rest of your life. By the way, to say, I am not willing to add value. I'm not willing to do my best. I'm just willing to survive. That's not doing the work. That's the anti-work.
Yes. I
That's the
totally
anti-work.
agree.
So for me, doing the work is, just to answer your question, is showing up fully 110% or 1,000%, even when it's not convenient for me. Even sometimes I have fever. Anybody that is a parent listening to this, have you ever had to show up because your children need you, right? Number 3, adding value. When? All of the time. Why?
Yes.
Because it just feels right to do so. Number 4, showing up regardless of the storms in life. And I think I'm covering a little bit of the points, but I'll let you share what is for you. So what is not for me, it's a job. Work for me equates to the privilege of a lifetime to be of service to others.
Yes.
So when I think like that, when I deliver something, a content, a podcast, a training, whether it's free, whether it's not free, whether people are paying or they are paying not, I am going to show up and I'm going to look for adding value only 100% of the times. And number 2, it's a privilege to do the work, to better oneself, to do one's personal work, and to serve others too. Sure, there's going to be storms. Sure, there's sometimes, you and I were talking, Seven, like, one day we should get just a day off, but of planet Earth. Wouldn't that be fun? Those of you who are listening to us, like, Gretel, besito, don't you think it will be fun, you guys, that, like, I just want a day off this year, and it's going to be outside of Earth. That will be cool. That will be cool. So what is it for you, Seve? What is doing the work for you?
Doing the work for me is, as I stated before, is it's the only job that nobody else can do for me. It is the work that I have to do myself because I am the only one in charge and responsible for me, for who I am, for what I want to become, for the future I want to create. And that is the only thing that I can do for myself, and nobody else can do that for me. So doing the work is taking full responsibility. In my perspective, is taking full ownership and full responsibility of your life and doing whatever it takes to get through whatever stage in life you're at, and make sure that every mistake you make, you learn from it. Make sure that every mishap or every hardship situation in your life, you learn from it and you take the lessons and move forward. It's like keep moving forward, always forward and upward, and park that past, leave whatever's hurtful in the past, whatever's hurtful, leave it behind, work on it, live through it, face it, and move on. I think that's, for me, is doing the work, is constantly moving forward and learning from the experience that life brings upon us. Because
I love what you just said. Okay, because what? Just finish that thought, because I love one thing.
Yes, life is such a rich experience. It's so full of opportunities to learn. Every single situation, it depends on your mindset, on how you look upon things, and how you face whatever's happening in life, on grabbing those lessons and just move forward.
I love it. I love, you had like several mic drop moments. I don't know, like not mic, mic, microphone drops. I love that you said something. You said constantly, right?
Yes.
You said the word constantly.
It's
and
24/7.
I think the work is 24/7. You said it. It's a 24/7 privilege. Notice what I'm saying. It's a privilege to do the work, to do the personal work, to do the spiritual work, to do the fitness work, the health work. For me, it's a pet peeve. It's a pet peeve, but for me, I like to show up fully. And when there's a mistake, whether it's team-based, whether it's something that happens that, as human beings, we're going to fall and fail, and we're going to make a lot of mistakes. In the work, I tend to do what you said right now too. And I mean, and you and I have now gone through through a lot of things, and we've been seeing how the demonstration of our actions, the kind of speak more than that. But we take responsibility even for the mistakes sometimes of others, because if we spot it, we've got the awareness on how to solve it.
Yes.
And it's such a privilege. And notice, those of you who are listening, how I keep saying the word privilege with work. The moment someone has the word, the definition of the work tied to a definition of, it's not mine. This is, and we should talk about this another time, Sebe, how not to use consciousness to evade responsibilities, because a lot of people use that, But when you do the work, instead of just saying, oh, well, this is not my job, this is not my mistake, someone else did it. It's so easy when one does the work to celebrate others when everything goes well. But when things begin to sink, oh, no, it's them. They did it. This is not my job. That's when the work is a privilege even more. You don't blame outside circumstances. You don't blame outside people. You don't gather gangs of let's create a pity party together. We go and solve situations. We go and solve a problem. We move forward. We add value. We show up fully, because it's one life, as you said it. And life is a rich experience. And the less data you have about the work being hard and misery and poor me and no one notices me a job, well, it's not their job to notice you. It's your job to notice you. It's your job to show up. It's your job to add value, not because someone else is going to put flowers in your feet, but because you know it's right and you know it's a contribution you do to humanity every day. So yes.
And
so what's the next point?
Yes, well, yes. The next, we've covered them all. One of the things that was, how much time do I have to do that work? And we already covered that. It's 24/7. It's basically impossible to take a break. I mean, you can relax and you can have a vacation and you can have a girls' weekend and you can go into a retreat and do whatever. I mean, doing the work. And even when you go into a retreat, that's when you really do more work, because you go deeper.
Well, you know what, Seve? The retreats are such a catch-22. That's why I rarely use the word retreat when we do events, because, well, with my work of transcendental rebirthing, it's rarely a retreat. It's like, how can I get out of the rebirthing thing? Especially the certification. Remember,
it's beyond the boot camp.
That's like the Navy SEALs word of the womb. Yes. It truly is. I mean, you are a thriver and a heroic survivor of that, and an incredible trainer for that. But so what you just said, I love. You said there's no possibility to take a day off from the work, and that is so much. That's a great news, because that means we are not dead. That means we are alive. Yes. That means that as long as we're living, we get the opportunity and privilege to create. And a lot of people say, but how can I do my work if all of these distractions are all over the world and no one understands me? Maybe your work is exactly in there, what you are trying to evade, what you are trying to put under a carpet. As long as you're alive, do the work of being the best version of yourself, of standing up when you fall, of taking responsibility for your creation, of checking twice your things that you are delivering, of bettering more and more yourself a little bit every day. I am all in for improvement. I'm all in, not for perfection, but of daily improvement. If you are not improving, you're dying. Absolutely. If you're not improving, you're dying. But I think I'm getting this podcast very intense. So this is just do the work. Do the work, show up fully 100,000%, because the other option is not showing up and your life is going to suck. Really, it's so much more painful when you don't do the work than when you do the work.
Absolutely. And the work is fun. I mean, it should be fun. It is always, as you said, it's a privilege to do the work, because in the end, everything begins and ends with you. And you are the only person that can work on yourself. It does not depend on others. It depends 100% on ourselves to do our own work. So I'd like to invite all of you to share with us on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook. You can share it publicly or here on the podcast. What have you done? What are the key elements that you have taken into hand to do your work? We'd love to hear. We'd love to know if there's any questions. Let us know so we can go deeper and share more amazing stuff with all of you. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll hear you next time. Bye-bye.
Subscribe to this weekly podcast on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher. Share your thoughts with us on Facebook.com/Sheepless Life Academy and learn firsthand how to live a sheepless life with Ivonne and receive an exclusive in-depth masterclass at sheeplesslife.com.